All right. The League of Women Voters, along with our co-sponsors, Metro North Chamber of Commerce and North Suburban Optimist Club, welcome you to meet the candidates for running for Minnesota House District 31A, Nowthen City Council, and Nowthen Mayor. Thank you to the candidates and Nowthen City Hall for making this event possible. All candidates on the ballot for each position were invited to attend tonight's forum. This year, League is holding our Meet the Candidates Forum without an audience to avoid the spread of COVID-19. I'm going to take this off. I should have taken it off before. I'm Arlene Gillette, co-chair of voter service for the Anoka, Blaine, Coon Rapids area League of Women Voters. I live in East Bethel, so I cannot vote for any of these candidates. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose any political parties or candidates for office. The goal of our forums is to help citizens become more informed voters. And League is open to membership to men and women of all ages 16 and over, and we invite you to join us. You can get more information at our website, lwvmn.org. This forum will be divided into 3 sections. We will start with candidates for House District 31A, followed by the Nowthen City Council candidates, and then the Nowthen Mayor candidates. In each section, we will begin with 3 questions which were provided to the candidates in advance. This will be followed by questions that have been submitted by the community. Candidates will alternate who answers each question first, and answers are limited to 1 minute each. We will end with 1-minute closing statements for each candidate. Okay, so we will begin with the candidates for House District 31A. This district includes Nowthen, Zimmerman, St. Francis, and Oakgrove in Anoka County, and Athens, Sanford, Spencer Brook, and Bradford Townships in Isanti County. The candidates are Brad Brown and Kurt Daudt. Kurt Daudt is not here tonight. So, Brad Brown, we will begin with the questions given to you in advance, and you have 3 minutes to respond. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters, ABC, for inviting me. My name is Brad Brown, and I am the Democratic Farmer Labor candidate for House District 31A. My wife, Sandy, of 51 years, and I live in a hobby farm in Spencer Brook Township, Isanti County, District 31A, for 24 years. I'm honorably discharged Vietnam-era veteran, having served 4 years in the United States Air Force. Since my retirement as a union journeyman diesel mechanic, I volunteer my time doing charity work. I'm a veteran-to-veteran hospice volunteer. I am involved in fundraising for scholarships for high school seniors and veterans' families. I do a lot of work with food shelf and family relief funding. I'm a member of the VFW Color Guard, the American Legion Honor Guard, and the Isanti County Beyond Yellow Ribbon Task Force. I'm also a deputy clerk at Spencer Brook Township. I love my community and my neighbors. I'm not a stranger to hard work. I work well with others, and I have led and I have directed. I have given orders. I can make a difference, and I know what a good bonding bill can do for my neighbors and my community. I also know what small business needs, and they need fast and reliable broadband to be competitive. They also need a reliable postal service. We need affordable health care for all Minnesotans, fully funded schools, K through 12, special ed, pre-K, and more counselors. A good education leads to a good paying job with decent wages, livable wages for all of my constituents in Spencer Brook and Isanti County and at House District 31A. As a retired union member, I know how important it is to have a good paying job with good benefits. It can change a person's life for the better. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we will move to questions from the community. First question. Partisan stalemates in the Minnesota legislature have halted discussions and passage of various bills. Please discuss how you would constructively work with all members of the legislature, regardless of party.
I know what the definition of the word compromise is, and I know that you can't get everything that you ask for. You got to work at it, and you've got to work with other people that have different views on maybe the same subject or a different subject, but you have to be able to work with others. And I can work well with others, and I get along with people, and I know the word compromise, and I know its definition. And like I said before, a good bonding bill would put Minnesotans back to work after this COVID-19.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question. COVID has intensified the need for reliable, high-speed internet in Nowthen. This is a two-part question. First, please discuss how you would work with local, county, and federal governments to secure additional funding for high-speed internet throughout Nowthen. And second, how would you convince additional high-speed internet providers to affordably bring their services to every resident?
Well, I know it's been really a rough road to hoe because in rural communities, the houses are far apart, and in cities, they can make a lot of money. But I think there's money out there, there's federal funding available, and there's also tax deferred money available through the state of Minnesota to accomplish that. Because if you don't have broadband for all your citizens, you've got taxation without representation, because sometimes the only way you can talk to a representative or a senator is through broadband, through the internet, or through Facebook or what have you. But telephone calls just don't seem to cut it nowadays.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Upon the completion of the 2020 census, Minnesota will draft and enact new district maps, redistricting. I always have a hard time saying that. The state legislature is responsible for drawing up these maps. Do you support the current process, or would you propose changes, and if so, why or why not?
Well, who's ever in charge is going to sway it their way or the other way. I think it's got to be done fairly, and I think what they've got in mind and what I've read so far is a fair way to do it. I'm not sure if I could come up with anything better than that. I know that the area that I've got is really, it's got a lot of 250-foot long driveways, and it's hard to campaign in. It's hard to get to everybody. We've tried, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
So they can make it easier for a person if they wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, next question. Please describe how you would advocate on behalf of a local small business community. What would you do to provide a healthy business climate?
Well, there's a lot of different ways you can do, like tax deferred this and give tax credits to small businesses, entrepreneurs. So like I said, with initiating a fast, reliable broadband, they can communicate to their customers, and with a reliable postal service, one that's just as fast as it used to be or even faster, they get their product out to their customers. And I think that's going to help more than anything else.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What do you see as the greatest need or challenge for youth in 31A? And how would you, as an elected official, help solve the issue?
I think kids need a place to go and a place to meet after school. And unfortunately, when I was growing up, my mother stayed at home. She didn't have a job, and us kids coming home, we had her to look forward to when we came home. There was always somebody waiting for us, and I think that's a situation now with these kids. To keep them out of trouble, I think they need some adult supervision. I think they need, if they don't have anybody home waiting for them, I think there should be a place where they can go to hang out and have fun, and maybe do a little of their homework, and maybe do a little FaceTime on their telephone or what have you, but somewhere that they've got that they can call a second home.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Do you support lower property taxes? And if so, what would you do to keep them down?
Well, nobody likes the sales tax. Nobody likes any taxes, really. And the taxes is a tough subject. It's a no-win situation because I realized that when it comes to like the gas tax and stuff, that was a tax that hit all incomes and not really equitably. I mean, we've got a situation now where the rich don't pay their fair share. And they really don't. It used to be where the upper 1%, anything over $10 million, they paid a 70% tax rate at. But they don't do that anymore. And there's some money out to be had from that. And you know, that's hard to get to. That money is hard to get to. But I'd be willing to work with anybody for a solution, to find a solution to lower property taxes. But if you lower a property tax, you got to raise some other tax to compensate for it, or give up some programs.
Okay, all right, thank you. On a different subject, do you think the statewide police reforms passed by the legislature this summer are moving Minnesota in the right direction? And explain why you do.
I really do. I think I don't think like the term defunding. I didn't care for that term. It really doesn't mean rerouting money for different other purposes. Because well, I'll give you an example. There was a police call out for a guy that had a knife, and you could tell he wasn't exactly stable. And instead of sending out a psychiatrist, psychologist, or somebody that's trained to deal with this type of people, they send the police out there, and the police went out there and put the knife down. And he wouldn't, and they shot him. Well, they were worried about him committing suicide. Well, they just helped him out there, and I don't think that's the right answer. I think the right answer is to have qualified professional people besides police officers to handle different situations. You're asking a lot of a police force. I got a great deal of respect, and I know a lot of police force, and they're friends of mine. A lot of police officers are friends of mine. But the fact of the matter is you're asking an awful lot of them. And anyway.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, okay. And continuing kind of in that same vein, next question. Do you believe that people convicted of felonies who are out and living in the community, not imprisoned, should have their right to vote restored?
Yes.
Okay. That was easy.
It's easy.
Yes, okay. All right, next question. Which one issue do you think is most important to work on with the legislators across the aisle?
Opioid.
Oh.
We barely got the insulin thing handled, and I was really sad about that. It took so long for them to come together about insulin, the basic need for human life, and they can't seem to meet on that. Opioid and the younger people coming up, we've got to tackle that, and we've got to really do it now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, next question. As an elected official, would you work to support MnDOT's strategies to promote electric vehicles, including accelerate sales and use and build out charging infrastructure? Would you support that to promote electric vehicles?
I would, but at the same time, a lot of our money for our roads comes from gas tax. So it's kind of like you're prohibiting smokers from entering different places, and yet a lot of the money for the cigarettes, the taxes on cigarettes, pays for a lot of different programs. So it's kind of like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't know what we'd have to do in relation to make up that money, because if it's not going to be made up on gas sales, somewhere it's got to come from.
No.
So that's something that we'd have to work on. But yes, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Not using gas, not using, hydrocarbons in the air, and we don't need, we got a big enough carbon footprint. We don't need to make any more.
Okay, all right, thank you, okay. Next question is a general question. What type of leader would you say you are? In other words, what is your leadership style?
I don't really know. I just like to get along with everybody. I don't like to cause problems, but at the same time, I guess I don't ever ask anybody anything to do that I can't do myself. I mean, I don't overstretch. I don't. I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. And
in the service, I had 5 airmen, and I made it so I said, you guys, you know, we only need 5 people at work, and that's including me. I know I could be in the office, but I just soon be out with you guys and drive the truck. We delivered mail on base up at Duluth Air Base for a year. And I said, work it out amongst you, and you should be able to do a 3-day work week. But don't tell me about it, and don't tell me who's off, and I'll just make it work. So we took, everybody had a 3-day work week. I had to be there, so I couldn't take off, so, but that's, and I kind of work with, to get along. Yeah.
Thank you. Another just general question. Considering recent events, how would you address racism in our state?
Actually, I got in trouble for answering this question before, but the fact of the matter is, I believe we're all born with a certain amount of racism in us, and I wish I didn't say that, but it happens to be true in my opinion. I believe that, and I believe that I can't imagine being brought up a color of skin meaning so much to so many people, and it, you know, I don't know. Down south, when we grew up back in 1963, we went down there with a 9-passenger station wagon. My family did. My mom and dad drove down there, and what happened was there was all sorts of signs that we were drinking out of a water fountain, and my sister was drinking out of one, and one had said "coloreds only." And the guy that was running the gas station, he was pumping gas. They pumped gas at that time, you know, down there. Not like now. They were pumping gas, and he said, "Hey, boy, what are you doing drinking out of that fountain?" You know, so we've come a ways, but I don't think we've come far enough yet. So.
Okay, thank you. I think this will be our final question.
Okay.
And I try to change the subject a little bit. If you had a day off from campaigning, what would you do for fun?
It would be a toss-up between playing golf or fishing.
Okay.
I love them both.
Okay.
I found out that if you really work hard at playing golf, you don't have time for fishing, so you got to make time. So.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and now you can have a 1-minute closing statement.
Well, as you can probably tell, I'm not a politician. I don't speak like a politician. My name is Brad Brown, and when you send me to St. Paul, I will work in a common sense way to address all the challenges in our district and the state. Always looking for ways to enhance our income and quality of life for my neighbors. If you would like to learn more about me, you can visit my website, brown4mnhouse.com, or on Facebook with the same address. Thank you, and please vote.
Okay. Well, thank you for speaking to voters about issues in this campaign and for running for office in the House District 31A. Thank you.